Welcome back to long-awaited part 5 of this series. Before we begin, I want to say I'm glad that people are still interested in this what if. I still get comments to this day, but hopefully this will satisfy everybody's thirst for, part 5. I would still recommend everybody go watch part 4.5 to understand the decisions I'm gonna make in this part. However, for those of you who have watched it or are coming back from watching it, let's begin with part 5 of What If Bardock and Gine Went to Earth. On May 12th at 9:30 a.m., just outside of South City, the gang gathers together. Kakarot, Gohan, and Chi-Chi are the last to arrive, giving the excuse that Chi-Chi made Gohan finish his homework before they could come. From here, the gang spends a bit of time catching up on the last 3 years. We find out that the humans were being trained with Raditz as a thank you for their fight against Frieza. With Gohan arriving, the 3 kids meet up. Echelot begins to boast about how much stronger she is than both of them. Trunks tells her not to get a big head, as he could still find a way to beat them both. Gohan smiles and says that, fighting isn't everything. Before they can continue their talk, Bardock asks Echelot where her father and Nappa are. She tells him that they'll be here soon, they just needed to go and test stuff. Raditz chuckles to himself, stating that he's been testing something new himself. Kakarot excitedly asks Raditz to show it to him, but Raditz tells him that he's saving it for the androids. Speaking of which, when the time comes, the gang decides to split into groups of 3 and search for the androids. Just like in canon, Yamcha and his team were the first ones to run into them. This means Yamcha still gets manhandled by Jiro, while Roshi gets beaten up by 19, and Chaozu kind of stays on the sidelines, he's trying to use his psychic powers. This would draw everybody's attention over to where they're at. Once they arrive, Raditz tells Chi-Chi, Gine, and Krillin to take these 3 back to get some sensu beans. Meanwhile, Bardock is ready to throw down right here, right now, but Kakarot convinces him not to do it and move it to another place. Upon arriving at the desert, the true battle begins. Bardock challenges Jiro while Kakarot fights 19. They both go Super Saiyan at the same time, acting as if it's some kind of big revelation, but Jiro is unfazed as he's seen it before, since in this timeline the battle with Frieza took place on Earth. As their fight continues, it becomes apparent that the androids are exceedingly stronger than the 2 Saiyans. This means that Jiro and 19 do eventually get a hold of Bardock and Kakarot. As they drain the Saiyan's energy, the bots are hit in the head by Vegeta and Nappa. The 2 end up trash-talking Bardock and Kakarot for not being able to defeat a couple of washing machines. Nappa hurls the bodies over to Raditz, telling him to get out of here. These 2 go Super Saiyan, but they know that this alone isn't enough, so they both power up to the 2nd greatest Super Saiyan, the slightly more buff form. Unfortunately, while this does make them stronger, it's not enough to kill the androids, or even hurt them, to be honest. Raditz, being on the sideline this entire time, decides to do something, but if he's gonna do something, he has to do something drastic. He powers up to Super Saiyan and then yells out, Super Kaioken! In a quick burst, he's able to catch 19 off guard, ramming into him, pushing the android away. He then, in an equally as fast manner, rushes over to Jiro and tries to roundhouse kick him. Well, this does get Jiro to stop sucking off Nappa. His attention is now on Raditz, who is in regular Super Saiyan transformation. Meanwhile, Chi-Chi, Gine, Krillin, and Yamcha finally arrive on the battlefield, where they see what's going down. Echelot goes to pick up her father, while Gohan and Trunks pick up Nappa. Chi-Chi tells everybody that they need to retreat, and everybody pretty much agrees, because everything's going, south. Raditz blitz towards them, with 19 and 20 chasing him. However, they're met with a triple solar flare from Chi-Chi, Gine, and Krillin. Since it's a simple technique to learn, I wanted to give, Chi-Chi and Gine something new. This buys them enough time for Raditz to get his brother and father's bodies and get out of there. They end up retreating back to Kami House while 19 and 20 go on their destructive rampage. Gine sends the kids out to get sensu beans, as they're the most likely to get past the androids. But for now, it's a waiting game, at least on the hero side. However, on the villain side, we get an interesting new development. 19 and 20 run into Cell. Cell and Jiro's first meeting turns out pretty civilized at first. Jiro would be very interested in learning what his creation would turn out to be like. And now that he's here, he gets to see what, it turned out to be. Once Cell asks about the whereabouts of 17 and 18, Jiro says that, they're unnecessary, they've got everything under control. Plus, they would probably end up getting out of control and not listening to him, so, they're currently deactivated. Cell would start getting more aggressive with Jiro, because, he won't tell him where 19 and 18 are, 17 and 18. Jiro orders 19 to stop Cell, and since this form of Cell is much weaker than them, he easily gets beaten down, and Jiro tells him to be a good little bio-android and stop looking for them. Cell realizes that eventually Jiro's going to need to go back to the lab, and promises to stop looking for the androids and help him. However, once they do go back to the lab, he'll make his move and take the androids for himself, screw Jiro and 19. Jiro takes what he said at face value, but tells 19 to keep an eye on him. A few hours later, the kids return, but Future Gohan also makes his return. Eshla brags about being the first to return, and she gives out the sensu beans as Future Gohan arrives and asks what the hiffle is going on. Trunks and his peasant self explain what's going on. Gohan realizes that he has changed the timeline after all, but probably in the worst way possible. Trunks tells him not to lose hope, as while Gohan and Eshla were getting the sensu beans, he went to ask Kami if they could do anything. Kami tells him to meet up with them once, everybody's been healed up. Vegeta, once he's all healed up, says to himself out loud how disgraceful it is that he was beaten by a couple of microwaves. He gets up ready to go back and fight the droids, but Eshla grabs her father's hand and tells her that it's okay, we can get stronger, and she'll help him. Vegeta looks away and smiles as they load up on a car, since it'd be best for them not to fly around and not alert the androids. Upon arriving at Kami's lookout, he tells them about the time chamber. Bardock angrily asks why he didn't, let them use it before the fight with Frieza. Kami tells them that he didn't believe they would survive within it, because, it's a harsh kind of training. He also goes on to say that, only 2 people can enter at the same time. They decide to use rock, paper, scissors, to see who goes first, the winner being Vegeta. He says he'll be going in with Eshla. Shortly after they walk in, Bulma calls the group. Also, I just want to say, I think Raditz using a cell phone would just look funny. She tells him that not only have they identified Android 20 as Dr. Gero, but they also found a second time machine. After he hangs up, Bardock says that they should split into groups, and they do so. Bardock's team goes off to the northern mountains to go find Jiro's lab, while Gine's, group goes off to investigate the time machine. Bardock's group searches the northern mountains for about an hour until Krillin raises his power to draw everybody's attention to the big ass metal doors. However, Krillin's slight raise in power also draws another person's attention and bolts off. Raditz pretty easily blasts the door down. As they walk inside, none of them really understand any of this technology stuff. They do eventually find the 2 androids that Gohan was talking about, and an extra android. They do debate about whether they should kill the androids or not, because, they technically haven't done anything wrong. Nappa and Bardock agree that they should be killed before, they kill anybody. However, before they can launch their attacks, Cell blasts a hole through the roof. He kicks Bardock away and stabs his tail into Nappa, sucking off a bit of his energy. Before Kakarot or Raditz can do anything, he uses Solar Flare and rips the pods off the wall. Cell would drag him about a mile away from the lab. He then proceeds to activate the androids and absorb them, allowing Cell to pretty much become perfect. This gives them a massive boost in power that alerts 19 and 20 to where Cell is. Once the Dragon team regains their sight, they head over to Cell, so they see this, monstrous creature. When they arrive, Nappa tries to get his revenge, for, pretty much making his arm all disgusting, but Cell is able to just ignore all these attacks. Raditz, Kakarot, and even Bardock try to attack him. However, Cell just one-shots them almost instantaneously. Cell tells Krillin and Yamcha that since he's gonna kill them, might as well, give him his backstory before he kills them. He goes on to tell them that he's from a different timeline, created by Gero, and blah blah blah, you guys already know. As Cell charges up a Ki Blast to kill, Krillin and Yamcha, Kakarot stands up, knowing that Cell is part Saiyan. He'll give him some time to train. He asks Cell to give him a few days to train for them to be able to, give him an actual challenge. Cell, being the egotistical little bug he is, agrees to let him train. He'll give him 10 days to train, then he'll kill them. After agreeing to this, 19 and 20 show up. Gero is both impressed and disappointed in Cell. He's impressed that he's able to, Gero himself is able to create such a magnificent being. But he's disappointed that Cell would go behind his back and absorb the androids. He orders 19 to kill Cell, and 19 tries to attack him, but is swiftly punched away by Cell. Meanwhile, Krillin and Yamcha grab the injured Saiyans and fly out of there. Gero tries to fly after them, but is quickly stopped by a punch to the face from Cell. This would send Gero's head flying towards 19. Cell tells Gero that these are his toys to break. Gero gets angry, calls Cell a failure of a project, which leads Cell to, stepping on him, destroying him, and then, goes and kills 19. After destroying his father and I guess technically brother, he goes on to create the Cell Games Arena. I don't think in this timeline he would announce it to the world, because I just don't think he would. He's more interested in just fighting Kakarot and Raditz and killing them. So that's where I'm going to leave this what if off. I promise I'm going to get part 6 out very soon, because it's probably going to be the last episode or last part to this series. I'll explain why then, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. And yeah, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Go check out my other videos. As of right now, the what ifs I've been enjoying to write the most are the what if Deku was a Power Ranger and the what if Goku was in Black Clover. I've been enjoying those the most right now, so go give those videos some love because I actually really enjoy it. So yeah. Also follow me on Twitter, because if you follow me on Twitter, you'll get to see when I post, thumbnails, which what ifs are gonna come out next. I believe that people on Twitter saw the thumbnail for this video a few days before I even put it on YouTube. So yeah, go follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.